you're mostly vegetarian. Being vegetarian also physically so active and not experience any loss in energy levels, nothing of that sort. No. So, what is your typical diet like one day's?
Morning, once we come back from the workout, we take lemon water, hot, warm lemon water, 1 or 2 glasses. Then after that, we take a cup of tea with one rusk. Then after about 15-20 minutes, then we take fruits, whatever are available, seasonal or non-seasonal. And then after that, around 9-9:30, we take breakfast. Breakfast is normally either one parantha or poha or upma, bread butter, bread omelette. Bread omelette, but light. Then after that, we don't take any snacking, nothing. Around 1-1:30, we take lunch. That is again chapati or rice and dal and sabzi or our favorite Kangra dish, palda.
Oh, yes, I love it too.
That is there. And then evening cup of tea around 5 o'clock. Tea or coffee. Around 7:38, we have our dinner. Again, rice or chapati, or I take chicken also. Anita is a vegetarian. Between the meals is the big no. Snacking we normally don't do. No snacking. That is the main reason why you gain weight.
But you eat your meals properly, like पेट भर के. You're satiate.
Not overeating.
1/3 पेट खाली रखना, keeping 1/3 of your stomach empty.
Yeah, exactly. 1/3, but yes. Heavy ना लगे. खाना खाने के बाद you don't feel heavy.
What oil do you use for cooking, by the way?
Mustard oils mainly and desi ghee, some olive oil. That's it.
No refined oil.
No, nothing.
And you make your own desi ghee or do you buy it?
Not in Dubai, but in India, yes, we used to make.
Your protein level, were you conscious of protein?
Mountaineering जब से मैं कर रहा हूँ, because उसमें थोड़ा सा you need muscle mass, you have to build muscle. And like I said, I'm a hard gainer. I don't gain weight, whatever I may try. Even when going for Everest, normally it is advised that when you go there and you have to live for 1 month or more at the base camp, you lose weight. So normal SOP is that you gain weight before you go, at least 3-4 kilograms, so that by the time you start climbing, you have come back to your normal weight. But despite my best effort, I couldn't gain any weight. And in fact, I lost 6 kilograms when I came back.
So your metabolism is excellent.
Yes, metabolism is very high. And because of him, I have to hear from people that you don't cook well.
And your metabolism is good because you walk so much throughout your life.
Active throughout, I've been active throughout my life.
What were you doing for your protein then?
These past 2-3 years since I started, I was taking small amount of protein powder. Okay. Like when I'm working out, during workout or immediately after workout, I'll take, there's a measure in that. They say you should take 2 to 3. I'll take 1. And at night, I'll take 1 measure of casein. That's a slow acting protein. These 2 powders I was using for the last about 2 years.
Do you still take them?
I've reduced the quantity since coming back from Everest because I am not doing much. Real sturdy exercise these days. I'm just taking it easy. So maybe 1 spoon after the workout I take it.
So there is a lot of whey protein out there which is not clean. So are you conscious of like which whey protein you choose?
Well, I try to get some better established brands, but then you can't really do much about it, Chavi. Even the food we are eating, they are finding there are various kinds of chemicals in that because of the water they are using for irrigation or the pesticides and so many other things, So nothing is clean that matter.
There is a famous like the Sherpa or Nepali proverb, right? Dal bhat power 24 hour.
24 hours. Yes.
Between the two, you get all the amino acids that make protein in your body. These Sherpas who are actually assisting you carrying all the weight, they are sustaining themselves on dal bhat.
Yeah. They eat that. Himachal also from childhood, we have been eating dal bhat.
Have you eaten millets in Himachal? Did you eat kodo or any small millet?
Yes.
It was common?
I'll not say that every day we'll eat, but twice or thrice. Actually, when I was there, they would mix kodo and amaranth. And they'll make a flour out of that and we'll eat those rotis. They were very tasty.
अच्छा, कोदो को amaranth के साथ मिला के
उसको बोलते थे कोदा चलाई का आटा.
कोदा चलाई, correct.
Yeah, very sweet to eat and very easy to digest. Then a lot of corn, मक्की की रोटी काफी खाता. In Himachal, that was regular.
Is kodo used now also?
अब वहाँ होता ही नहीं है. वहाँ पर mostly apple लोगों ने लगा दिए हैं उस एरिया में तो सारे there are apple orchards now. So not any millets are available. They buy their own food also like wheat and all. They buy from the market, most of it.
So earlier they used to grow kodo over there.
Yeah. That time there are no apples. I'm talking of 60 years back.
I
That
see.
time, no apple trees in that area where I was born. Only Kotgarh they had started, just started in Kotgarh. Then gradually it spread all over.
How unfortunate.
It's a cash crop and they get good money. And
Yeah.
in millets and all, they don't get much money because the land is not irrigated. So you depend on a rain and the crop is not really good.
Next, moving on. So we've talked about exercise and food, nutrition. Next, mental health. Now you are going into these places. Is it important, taking care of your mental health also when you are going to engage in such activities?
It is normally said that in mountain climbing, it's 70% is your mind and 30% is your physique. It's
Wow.
so important. It's so important, you know. I've seen people very strong, looking sturdy, and suddenly they see a crevasse and they are just scared and they just say, no, I'm not going any further. I'm going back. So the mental power, mental strength is very important.
So how
Yeah.
do you train? Like you can train physically by exercising, you can eat
Yeah.
food, but how do you train your mind? Did you prepare or is it natural? Something you or not have?
For me, it's natural, but I've seen people meditating, concentrating on their mind on that. Fortunately for me, I never had any issue.
You grew up in Himachal, so
Yeah,
crevices, khaya, and peaks, they were very
that
natural
was
for
part
you.
of it. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah. What about the role of your family?
Well, family, like I said, वो कहते हैं ना कि
Anita
मैरिड
ji is
आदमी
your
तो
rock.
कहते हैं ना कि मैरिड आदमी तो बीवी को पूछे बिना टीवी का चैनल भी चेंज नहीं कर सकता. अब अगर इनकी परमिशन ना हो, इनकी सपोर्ट ना हो तो आई कांट डू मच. So
Correct.
naturally she was supporting, and in fact it became very annoying sometimes for me that the ladies will gather with her. They'll say, अरे आपको डर नहीं लगता, आप कैसे भेज देते हो इनको, रोकना चाहिए ना आपको.
But I used to tell them if he wants to do it, so let's pray for his well-being and pray that he is successful in his mission.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's a very risky thing, but that should not stop your mission.
Yeah.
So without her sport, naturally it was not at all possible. I couldn't even think of it.
Because she was comfortable with it, you could go with an
Yeah,
open heart without any
yeah,
concern, worry, fear.
100%.
exactly.
Excellent.
The family support was also there. Always, the kids were always motivating me, my daughters and my son-in-laws. In fact, my Everest, it was financed most of it by them only. I didn't have that kind of money. I required almost 40 lakh rupees. So they all contributed. My other relatives, my siblings, my nephews, nieces, her sisters. So everybody pulled in money for that.
So when you're going, the terrain changes, right? Sometimes it's sandy, sometimes snowy, sometimes forest, sometimes rocky. So what kind of an effect does it have on you physically, emotionally, mentally? What do you feel like when you're going through all these different terrains and where there is only very sparse population, just maybe you and your group? So what's going on in your head, in your body?
I've seen people suffering, somebody will have constipation, somebody will have some other problem. But fortunately for me, I've been lucky. I haven't had any major problem, mental or physical, due to this change. Again, my standard principle is that whenever you have any issue with your mind or anything, eat less so that your body doesn't consume most of its energy in digesting your food. That energy is used elsewhere wherever it is required.
That's an
So
excellent
that
point.
somehow helps me. I don't overeat. I make sure food is not overeaten. So that helps me a lot.
So even when you're climbing these hard climbs, you're eating less than your capacity, or even lesser than that also, much lesser.
No, initially when I go there for 1 2 days, then I take that precaution. Once the body gets adjusted, after that I come to my normal diet, but avoid overeating under any circumstances. No overeating.
And they provide you vegetarian or non-vegetarian food?
It depends on the area. Actually, like when you go to Khumbu area, they call it, where this mountain Everest is. That area is known as, because there's Khumbu Glacier, so this is known as Khumbu area. So that is a Buddhist area. No killing of animals is allowed there. So whatever meat comes there, that comes from Kathmandu by plane to Lukla, and then on horseback or on yak's back to different places. So normally you will find that the meat available en route is old, and how old you don't know, and it has not been stored properly. So we are advised normally that when we are going to Everest base camp, at least on the way, we should stick to vegetarian food, at the most eggs, but no mutton and chicken, because sometimes there can be a bug and then your digestive system go for a toss. But like we
Very
were in
interesting.
base camp for 1 month, there every day helicopters were coming from Kathmandu. Non-veg food, chicken, mutton, it will come from Kathmandu every day. So there we were given non-veg food and we had non-veg. But on the way, because we are eating the hotels and we don't know how old it is and what is the scene, so it's better that we stick to vegetarian food.
That vegetarian food gives you adequate carbs, protein mixture to give you energy to keep going on.
For us, wherever we are, one at least meal is dal chawal, lunch
Ah.
or dinner. That is a standard this thing. Non-veg, even if it is there, enough quantity is not there. It is just for a change of taste. So mostly it is vegetarian food. So we can complement it with eggs. And as it is higher you go, more protein is not suggested because protein requires a lot of oxygen for digesting. So it's mostly carbs. They are suggested that you take carbs. That's why they say that before going, you add some weight so that even if there is a muscle loss, still you are okay with that. What we eat there is mostly carbs. Yeah.
Very interesting. How do you know, like when you're climbing, like when to push yourself or when to just sit down and rest? And now I can't go. But you're going in a group, so you can't do it individually also. Like, मैं तो थक गया, I'm tired, I can't go on anymore.
Actually, in every group, there are people, laggards are always there that you can't help. Some people will get tired, but your body tells, that you can't move, you can't move. There is a system of, taking care of them, couple of stronger people, or if you have Sherpas with you, they'll be left with them and then they keep following. And sometimes if somebody is in a real bad shape, then they are returned also. They go back. And somebody gets sick, then evacuation. At least in Nepal, helicopter evacuation is always an option. But in India, that's a problem. Like if you are in Ladakh or some places, then helicopters are not available. Then it's a difficult proposition. You have to walk back, but there's no other way out.
And then sometimes, like those people might feel, why did I even start? Why did I do this? Right? But then on the other hand, there are what you call very beautifully paisa vasool moments. So, which
Yeah.
make all this worthwhile. If you want to encourage people, the younger people, to try this, to go for treks, to go for mountaineering or long walks, like what would you tell them? Like, kyun karo? Like, why should you do this?
There are a lot of lessons which are learned during this trekking and all, team building, supporting each other, taking care of each other, surviving in difficult circumstances, in extreme cold or extreme hot. These are all life's lessons which you can not learn sitting inside a room,
People with different nature, you learn a lot.
So that way, there's a lot of learning and you are with the nature.
Dr. Shant Peak, which is about 5,300 meters high. I could have given a very sprawling view of these high peaks, but unfortunately most of them are covered under fog. But here you can see Ahmad Avlam, one of the most beautiful mountains in the world. And here this is Tham Serku. This is also 6,700 meters, but it's considered a holy peak, so climbing is not allowed. And this side are Lobuche and other peaks, they are all covered under the fog.
You come across so many beautiful peaks, so many beautiful brooks, tracks, and jungle, nature in abundance, So
Yeah,
you
you're
have to
in
go there
nature's
only.
lab.
Nature will not come to you because unfortunately most of it has been destroyed in the cities, So you have to go to such places only. And the more you are willing to walk, more virgin areas you will come across.
And when you are with nature, your mind also, your body cleanses, your mind cleanses. People who
Yes,
have
yes,
depression, you never face these kind of
yes.
conditions. Now there are so many youngsters also depressed and not knowing, not having any goal, purpose, no connection, nothing, right? So when you do these kind of activities, I think you are also safeguarding yourself against these conditions.
Well, I have been almost trekking now for 60 years. So many people I've seen in the group that at the beginning of the trek, they are different kind of people. And when the trek is over, they become totally different personalities. And
Describe, like
some
what were
people,
they
there's a
like in the
sea change.
beginning and what do they become?
Yeah.
Positive change, right?
Yes, there's a positive change in them. They empathize more. They come forward to help you. They share their things, they'll talk to you. I've seen people sometimes talking their personal life with you, although you're meeting for the first time. Like normally it happens with me that I prefer to stay with the laggards to give them support whenever somebody is, lagging behind and all that. So I will stick to him or her that, okay, I'll walk with you, don't worry. And let's continue kind of a thing. So I've seen in those moments, the person is down mentally and tired and all. They'll share so many secrets of their life. Normally, I'm meeting them for the first time, they come across forthright. A
And
total
that
change
clears
in a
the head.
person. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In
Lot of
cities,
pressure.
people don't talk, right? Inner
Yeah.
conversations people don't have. It's all
Yes, yes.
at the surface. That's beautiful. You've mentioned in some places about climate change also. So during your treks, have you noticed? And I know you have, like you've mentioned one at least, the Chola Lake, the beautiful turquoise colored Chola Lake that you saw in October 21 had disappeared
Yes.
by May 23. Do you feel climate change is it real? Some people even deny it, that it's not even real.
My God, Chavi, the things are going really bad. The mountaineering is becoming very risky. There's a nature system, there's a fresh snow. It comes down as an avalanche. It forms a glacier. And those glaciers keep moving downwards with the time. And there are hundreds of years old snow which is lying there, but fresh keeps piling up. So that keeps the crevasses closed or at least narrow. That water constantly flows down. Like
Yeah.
this year, we found that there was not much snow during this winter in Everest. Even in Everest area, there was not much snow. So the
Wow.
crevasses has widened so much that earlier where one ladder would do, they had to put three ladders, tie with each other and put three ladders. They were so wide because the
Wow.
fresh snow has not come, which used to push snow down. So the crevasses are growing wider and more dangerous. We found the same thing in Kangyatse also. Last year when we went to Kangyatse, our group leader, he told us that I've been coming to this peak for the last 20 years, but I haven't found it this dangerous, which it is this year. Again, because lack of snow.
Wow. So
Yeah.
people who think climate change is not real should go and look at
They
this.
should go and see there. Yes, it will open up their eyes.
Do you think Earth is like dead or inert matter? Or when you go in the lakes and the mountains, or do you think they're alive and living entities? In Indian scriptures, Hindu scriptures, we've always believed that they are living. Like in fact, we give them the status of deities, like or gods and goddesses. Like Himalaya Parvat is a god. Parvati is the daughter of the Himalaya.
Himalaya. Yeah.
Ganga is a goddess, right? River. So what do you feel like? Are you religious? Like when you go, how do you? And I know that even the mountaineers, when they scale, you pray and you ask for permission that may I, I may be able to allow me or permit me to climb. Give me some insights about this aspect.
Prakriti is always chalayaman. It's always moving, always mobile. Something or the other is happening. When we go there and see the nature, the variety you come across, start from a lower height, it's all green, thick jungle. And suddenly you reach a height of about 10,000 feet and suddenly everything vanishes. It's only rock and ice, no vegetation, no trees. There are so many different aspects of nature that you are just totally taken aback.
And
Every
you
time
don't
you go
think
to different area.
they're dead or inert and something to be
No, no.
conquered,
No,
right?
it's alive. It's something or the other is happening. We were in the Everest base camp for almost a month. So every now and then on the hills, there'll be some rocks falling or a piece of glacier coming down. So there's a huge roar and then rumbling sound. And it will happen every 2-3 hours. Even during the night also, suddenly you're woken up with a huge roar and then the rumbling sound for 2, 3, 4 minutes. In fact, they have named it Khumbu Lullaby.
It was not scary.
You suddenly feel what is happening, but then it's far. Sometimes you can see during daytime, you rush out and try to look. So if it's in the hills near to you, you can see something. Otherwise, you hear only the sound.
If we look at these natures, the structures, lakes, rivers, mountains as living entities, then we will treat them differently also.
Exactly.
When you pass through all these villages and villages, what was life in villages like over there? Did you feel that on the people or that they needed these conveniences of cities that we as city folks are used to? Did you find any chronic ailments amongst people because there's hardly any hospitals there?
Well, life is tough. If we see from our angle, it looks tough, but they are used to it and they are happy there.
Yeah. And
It's
they're
home for them.
healthy. They don't have any
And
chronic
they're healthy.
conditions.
In most of the rural areas, wherever I have been, I've seen alcohol is the major culprit. People start, even in Laos Spiti, even the women also drink. People who are drinking heavily, then they face problems. But otherwise, overall, they are good.
They
Doing it in
use
excess.
natural medicine, nature-based medicine. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, they have own so-called vads or local who give them herbal treatment. But now I've seen more or less everywhere that medical help, if the doctor is not there, some healthcare worker or something is normally available in a cluster of villages, if not in every village.
But there's no chronic condition, lifelong disease happening over there.
I haven't seen much.
One reason of their being healthy can be they are hardworking. They are working in harsh conditions and they are working in fields, and also physically they are very active.
Air
Active.
is fresh.
Air
Air
is
is good.
fresh.
Yeah.
And the Sherpas, right? They themselves are, they belong to those regions and they are amongst the most, the strongest and full of grit and courage and stamina and
Yes.
endurance and everything
Yes.
that city folks want to
Because they
be.
have lived, yeah, they from their childhood they have lived in that area. They are accustomed. Their bodies are accustomed to less air. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect them much. They run like anything. Where we are barely able to walk there, they literally run with huge loads on their backs.
How do you look at the world today? The
Yeah.
general trend, like the way we are moving, people are moving, the lifestyles are structured.
Well, I think if the younger generation can avoid eating too much of junk, these fast foods, maybe return to the normal food we Indians have, it will do a lot of good for them. And if they can slightly slow down their lives, I've seen a lot of impatience now. These youngsters, they are not willing to wait even for 1 minute. They get very agitated and angry, start fighting, even if there is a delay of 1 or 2 or 3 minutes also. So that probably is not a very good trend. Overall, that shows that they are stressed somewhere, that frustration is coming out of them. That is something I would like them to think about and do something.
Do you feel that
Maybe.
life has, for many people, it has become a race for just gathering
Yeah,
wealth, money?
in the cities, yes, I have seen in Bombay, I used to travel in train, and people will just snap at each other for a very, very small issue. They are always so tense that they're ready to burst out at the first opportunity. That is something I feel is bad. It's bad for them only.
Anita ji, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I totally agree with him. These days, these youngsters are running after money. And at the end of the day, if you are not healthy or you don't have time to spend the money, what's the idea of you should be satisfied at some level that I should earn this much and spend time with my family, take care of my health. Running after money, material things is too much these days.
What is your advice on how should one face these challenges and ups and downs of life? What is your mojo?
I think somewhere a person has to draw a line that, okay, if I'm
Yeah, this much
comfortable,
is
I have
yes.
basics. So if you are moving in a car, it doesn't really matter whether it's Maruti or Mercedes. So that is the difference basically. If you are after having a Maruti, you're running after Mercedes, then you will never be comfortable.
What about
Somewhere we have to draw a line on our needs.
what about upsets and setbacks in life? Like I know you lost your daughter
Yeah.
recently, and after losing her, you actually went to the Everest base camp and did all these amazing clients too. So where did you get that courage from? And I know it's heartbreaking for both of you, and it pains me also. But you both are so positive and inspiring that I want to, if you don't mind, I want to hear like you get courage. You obviously you found that source of pool of courage, and it's God's grace
Actually,
too.
it is mostly the family support. We support each other. Like, I was totally kind of a broken man after Richa's demise. And I stopped doing my exercise and my workout and all that. I thought life is over for me. That kind of feeling was there to start with. But then my son-in-law, Richa's husband, he said कि नहीं पापा ऐसा मत करिए आप अपना आप जाइए वर्कआउट पे जाइए और ये जो हो गया है हो गया है. He supported me a lot. Then Anita also, she said, no, you don't. You
My biggest
made.
support is Raman.
So you had this target. You must continue. Even Richa always wanted you to be there, and only for her, you continue. So they motivated me and put me back on track. So it's family support mostly.
Hats off to both of you, your entire family, for being so positive and being there for each other. Now you want to continue. I know you have this dream to achieve the mountaineering grand slam. You want to scale
Yeah.
the highest peak in all the continents.
Continents, yeah.
Right. And you're looking for sponsors who can support you. I hope this talk conversation can contribute in some way to that. What is your next goal? Which peak are you looking at now?
First, I want to sort out this Everest thing, why I couldn't do it. I'm still not able to kind of get over with it. Whatever were the reasons, because if I want to ever think of climbing Everest again, so I must analyze the things what was my fault, what was the organizer's fault, what was Sherpa's fault, so that that doesn't happen again. Suddenly Sherpa said, I am not going beyond this, I am not taking you, it's risky and
I
all that.
see. So you felt that you had it in you to go
Yeah, I was
all
quite
the way?
comfortable on Camp 3. I slept without oxygen. I removed the oxygen. While climbing, I used oxygen. But overnight, I didn't use any oxygen and I had no breathing difficulty. I was okay. I was a bit tired, of course. My idea was that I'll spend a day here in Camp 3 and next morning I will start again. But he just backed out. He says, no, I'll not take you. Actually, a couple of days before that, four people had died near the death zone above 8,000 meters. All youngsters, two were Indians and two were other country people. They died out of exhaustion, no accident, nothing. They just exhausted themselves. So the Sherpa probably chickened out because of that. He thought this is 72-year-old person I am carrying and something happens, then I'll be blamed. He just refused to take any further risk. Above Camp 2, helicopter evacuation is not possible. Even from Camp 3, people are picked by long rope. Helicopter throws a rope down, it can't land there. So the person who is sick is tied down to the rope and then he flies with him like that with the rope and then he takes him to base camp where then he is treated. Initial medical help is given and he is put inside the helicopter.
I see.
So higher you go, then there is a very little chance of
That's
recovery
true.
because then it's very difficult because it's all roped up and very steep climbs. So he thought probably if something happens, I may not be able to evacuate him. Because of that, he just refused to go. So I'll have to see all those things that such things do not happen to me because idea of doing Grand Slam is only if I can do Everest. That's why I thought first I'll do Everest because other peaks are not that difficult. So if I can't do Everest, then Grand Slam will not be complete. So I have to think about it again. And if I have to do Everest, then I don't have much time also because of my age, advancing age. So let's see how it goes.
This brings us to the end. Thank you so much for all your time, for this wonderful conversation, for sharing such beautiful things with us. I hope that you fulfill all your dreams. आप जहाँ पर भी जाए भगवान आपके साथ आपकी कृपा बरसाए. That you are showered with grace and lots of blessings to your entire family.
Thank you so much, Shavi. Thank you for
Thank you.
sparing your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Discussion. Yeah.
My pleasure. It's entirely my
Okay.
pleasure.